Hi, welcome to Really Cooking with Robin. Today we're going to be making bruschetta. It's one of my favorite recipes to make. I love teaching this class. This is a great time of year to be using up all the tomatoes that you have abundant in your garden and that you can find at your local farmer markets. Before we start chopping all our tomatoes and the onion, I like to have my flavors already marinating, and I like to layer everything. So I like to start with balsamic vinegar, the fresh garlic. I like to press it in the balsamic vinegar with the olive oil and your dried seasonings. You have Italian seasoning, oregano, crushed red pepper, salt and pepper, the Parmesan cheese, and the fresh basil is the last thing you want to put in the layers of your flavor. So the first thing I would do is just take care of my wet and dry ingredients and let them sit in a bowl, and they'll marinate so that your flavors will come together sooner than later. And then we can start chopping the tomatoes and the onions. When choosing a bulb of garlic, you want to make sure it's firm and it's held together pretty tight. You want to be able to break the garlic off with a little bit of ease, and you don't want any mold or anything on it. And then when you take the garlic, you want to tap it with a knife or a chopper and just press down on it and take the two ends of it off and then put it through a garlic press. You can also use a microplane, or you can chop it finely. I prefer to use a garlic press. They're very inexpensive and they work great, and they distribute the garlic more evenly in the bruschetta so you don't get like a mouthful of garlic. I'd like to show you how to chop an onion. The best way to chop an onion is to cut it in half. You want to cut the top of the onion off first and leave the hairy end, which is like the root of the onion. You want to leave that on. And then you peel it off, and you're going to make slices into the onion. Keep a fingertip on the onion and slice into it, but don't go all the way down. You want to just have your fingertip on the end of it, and then you want to slice into the onion the other way, because we're going to do a medium chop on our onion for this application. The same with our tomatoes. It's going to be a medium chop, because you want to have a nice even bite of the bruschetta when you're tasting it. When choosing your tomatoes, you can use any tomato that you'd like. Your fresh tomatoes from your farm markets is the way to go, in my opinion. This time of year, tomatoes are so abundant. Cherry tomatoes are coming in like crazy, so what better way to use them up than in bruschetta? I like to use a combination of tomatoes. I like to use the cherry tomatoes and the garden fresh tomatoes. Any variety is fine. When you cut the cherry tomato, you want to cut it in half and then in half again. When using a big tomato, you want to take the top off, take the end off. You do not want this core in your bruschetta. A lot of people leave this in. This is not edible. Nobody wants to bite into that. And then you want to cut it in, you want to make like 1/4-inch slices, and then through those slices you want to quarter it again. So you want nice, even bite size, just like your onion. You want to now put them in the bowl where you have the balsamic, your olive oil, your Italian seasoning, your oregano, your garlic, your crushed red peppers. They've all been marrying together. Now you add your onions and your tomatoes and give it a good stir. At the very end, you're going to add a 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. That's my little secret to my bruschetta recipe. And then we're going to add fresh basil. Compliments of my daughter. This fresh basil is from my daughter's garden. Thanks, baby girl. And we're going to make chiffonades out of the basil. I love saying that word. It's a big word, and I just like to say it. But it's basically, it means to garnish, I believe, in French, and it means ribbons. So I love to make big ribbons of the basil and add it on the very end, and that just gives the bruschetta just a whole new flavor. Now that we have our bruschetta done, here at Really Cooking with Robin, we don't eat it on Italian bread. Although it is absolutely delicious on toasted Italian bread, we like to eat it on our low-carb chicken parm. We like to eat it on a whole wheat wrap or a low-carb wrap, and also on low-carb pasta. Dreamfields makes a delicious low-carb pasta. You would never know you're eating low-carb, and that's how we like to eat our bruschetta. So there you have it. Fresh, garden fresh bruschetta. You always want to make sure you taste it when you're done after you mix it all in. You want to taste the flavors, because if it's too tart, some of your tomatoes might have not have been as sweet as you thought they were, so you can adjust your seasoning. So you always want to taste. Oh, that's good. That is really good. I think it needs a little more salt, so I would add a little more salt. That's just my preference, and I would like to add a little more basil because I love basil. But if it's too salty, you can always add more tomatoes. You can always add a little more vinegar. If it's too vinegary, you can always add a little more olive oil. You can always adjust the seasoning. Thank you for being here today. I hope you enjoyed the recipe bruschetta. Remember to have fun, put your own twist on it, and support your local farmers. And until we meet again, here's to the journey. Really Cooking with Robin is a labor of love. We're a cooking school like no other. We offer kids in the kitchen, adult classes. We do corporate events, we do private parties, we do birthday parties. We have a cookbook library free to the public. We take donated cookbooks. We have a unique kitchenware store, and we have a consignment shop. So come down and check us out at the Hillcrest Shopping Plaza. We're at 138 West Germantown Pike. Hope to see you soon.